Hello and welcome student to the crash course of React.js. Actually in this course we are going to learn about all these things which I have in this table of content. First we are going to introduce the CSS, then CSS syntax, selectors, have these different types. I will show you how to do this. And there is another concept, CSS box model, CSS units, CSS colors, typography, fonts and text, CSS layout, display, positioning, Flexbox, grid, and CSS styling, borders, margin and paddings, background, shadows, responsive design, media queries and viewports, CSS animation and transition. I will do this everything in just one video. And let me show you in which studio I'm coding. So I'm using VS Code. You should download this one because it gives better suggestions. And I'm also using Git. So must sure that you have downloaded this in your system. Download this if you are Windows user, and if you are Mac then you should go to this, and if you are Linux then go to this. And let me create a repository for this in the GitHub. So I am going to the GitHub and here I am creating a new repository. If you are new to GitHub then you should to sign in before. I'm giving it the CSS Crash Course. Now let me keep it public. You can also keep it private. So let's create the repository. Here now I'm going to initialize the repository in my local PC. So how I will do this? Make sure that you have Git in your PC for doing this. Git init. It will initialize the empty Git repository in my local computer. Then you will have to git add for adding all the things in the particular folder. Then you will have to commit this and give message just like I give its initial commit. Then you will have to add the URL of this repository in order to upload your code on the GitHub. So git, let me see, git remote add origin. Let me copy this one and paste it here. Now let me push the code origin master. Here you can see that the code is now uploaded on the origin master. Let me refresh this. Now here you can see the css.md file is now on the GitHub. So here you can see the commit message here. Now let me create another branch, git checkout, for creating the branch with B, and here you will have to name it. So I'm going to name it intro CSS. Okay, so this is my branch name. Now let me see what is in the introduction of CSS. So CSS full form is Cascading Style Sheet, is used to style and lay out web pages including colors, layouts and fonts. You will create a page with HTML, and for designing you will have to use the CSS for better looking. Let me give you a quick demo. For example, I'm going here to create a file lesson.01.html, and here you will have to make the basic boilerplate with the help of this shortcut. So here I'm going to create h1. If you don't know about these things, I'm going to show you each and everything, but before I'm going to give you a quick demo. For example, here I have a hello world in this, and now I'm going to create here a style tag, and in this style tag I'm selecting the h1 and giving it some color. Now you can see I give it a red color. Now let me open this file in the browser. Here now you can see its color is a red, but by default its color is a dark. If I show you, here you can see the color of this is dark. So this is how we are styling elements and everything with the help of CSS in web development. So CSS is the designing language of web development. Second is the CSS syntax. So a CSS rule consists of a selector and a declaration. How we are selecting elements in CSS, we are now going to do this. So CSS syntax. A CSS syntax rule consists of a selector and a declaration block. So first you will have to select the element on which you want to apply the style, and then you will have to apply the property and the value of that property. For example, if I show you here in this code, here you can see I have selected that h1 here, and I have choose a property of color, and I have given the value of red. So this is the rule set of CSS. What is this? This is actually called rule set of CSS. In this rule set, you can see here is a selector with curly braces. Let me zoom it a little bit. With curly braces and property and value. So these are all the rule set of CSS. Let me show you here. Now here you can see this is how they have done: selector, property and value. Third one is selector. So now we are going to learn about selector. First is the universal selector. If we have many tags in the HTML tag, for example, if I show you here, I have h2 and this is content, this is h2. Let me hide this. And I have a p and this contains this is paragraph. Now if I want to apply style on this all, I will have to apply a style on this star. It is a universal selector, and you will have to apply a color here for demo. For example, let me give it red color. So see here you can see now the red color is applied on the whole contents of the web page. Okay, so this universal selector is to select all the elements in the particular file. Okay, then we have type selector. For example, this is text selector. Let me show you here in this. If I want to give the p another color, p color should to be blue. Now let's see, the p will be no blue, the paragraph will be no blue. See here you can see now the paragraph is blue. Let's come to the note what they are saying further. Here is another the class selector. So how we are selecting a class? You will have to give here a class. For example, I am going to give it a class, and the class name is a header. Okay, and here I am going to select this class in the CSS. How I can? You will have to start with a dot and then the class name which you have applied here. Okay, now I am going here to give it the color of a green. Now let's see. Now the color of this is green. Okay, so this was class selecting in CSS. Now let's see what is further. Further is the ID. Okay, now let's see with ID. For example, here I am going to select with ID. I have to give it ID of subhead. Okay, and let me choose select it. Now here you can see I am going to give it the color of a yellow. Okay, now let's see. Here you can see now the color of this h2 is a yellow. With the help of ID I had selected it. Okay, so this was all about selecting in CSS. Okay, now we can also go with the attribute, but don't try to select with the attribute. Okay, now what is pseudo classes? So we can also, when we are going to hover or something on particular element, at that time we are using pseudo classes. So what the pseudo classes are, let me show you with the help of an example. So for example, here I have a button. Click me, and I want whenever I am going to hover this button, then the color should to be black. For example, button, and for pseudo class you will have to use this colon, and then the class name. For example, I'm going to choose the hover class, and now I'm going to make the background color of this to blue. Now let's see what's happening. Okay, now here is a button. Here you can see whenever I'm hovering this, then the color is changing to blue. The background color is changing to blue. So this is due to the pseudo classes. We are selecting the pseudo classes with the help of this colon and the class name which is given by CSS by default. Okay, for example, if you want to make it cursor pointer, then we are going to give it the property of pointer. Let's see. Now here you can see the cursor is not changed whenever I'm hovering the button. Okay, so this was all about selecting in HTML, sorry, in CSS. So let me see what is further in these notes. So story elements, you can also give the first line or second line or custom you want to style, then you can do by this. Okay, and the second is a CSS box model. Now let me post this code on GitHub before git add git commit m CSS intro with the selector. Okay, git push. Now let me choose this. Okay, I think I did a mistake. Copy this one, paste it here and push on GitHub. Okay, now create, and you will have to merge it with the main branch. So you will have to go to master and git merge. What was the name? Into to CSS. Now you will have to push this master also on the GitHub. Push. Select this one. Okay, I don't know what is happening this. Now let's do this. Now here you can see now the code is added. CSS lesson 1 is here. Now let's go and create another branch. Checkout -b box model. Okay, now let's create a file here with the name of lesson2.html. First, I think I should to teach you the different types of CSS. So let me teach you. Okay. So we can use CSS by 3 types. First one is inline. Second is internal, and the third one is external. So we are using these 3 now. So what is inline CSS, what is internal CSS, and what is external CSS? For example, I have h2 and here is a hero section. Okay, I don't know why I name it hero, but let me give it name of hero. Now here I want to give style only to this thing. Okay, so how I can? You will have to use this style attribute, and in this you will have to choose what you want to play with. For example, I'm going to color it with the blue. Now only this thing will be no blue. Let me show you. If I open this file, here you can see now the hero section is and if I create here in h1 and hello world, and here I'm going to give it inline style with the BG background color. I'll show this everything red. Now let's see. If I refresh this, now here you can see the background color of this is now blue. So this is called inline CSS. What is this called? This is called inline CSS. Inline CSS. Okay, and the other is internal CSS. For example, I have here a P, and this P is containing some text of lorem. I don't know what is this, but now I'm going to have here a style tag. Okay, a style tag, and in styling in this tag is called inline CSS, internal CSS. Sorry. For example, I'm going to select this P, and now I'm going to give it color of green. Here you can see now the color of this P is green. Okay, so this is called internal CSS when we style in this style tag. Okay, and the other is external CSS. Now let's see what is the external CSS. For example, here I have some content of let me guess what I have h4. These are related to external CSS. Okay, now let me create here a file of CSS. So how we can do this? For example, I'm going to make it style.css. You can name it anything, but the extension must be CSS. Okay, now here I'm going to select this h4 and make the color for this purple. Okay, now let me show you. Here you can see now the color of this h4 is not a purple. how we can do the apply this style. Now come to this, and here you will have to link this file. So here is a link, and in this link you will have to pass the file name, which is this one. Okay, now let's see either it is working or not. Here you can see now the color is changed to purple. Okay, so this was the three type of CSS, internal, inline, and external. Okay, so now let's go to the main topic which we are going to discuss in this video. Lesson 3. .html. Okay, now let me give it the box model. And I have here a div. Okay, and let me give it some margin style to it. For example, I'm going to give it some internal style. Let me choose this div, select this div. Now I'm going to give it some amount of width. I will show you what this width and height is later in this video. For example, width, height of 300 pixel, and background color to blue. Okay, now let's see what we have in this. First, let me show you what is the content, padding, border, and the margin. Now let's see this box before, what we are getting in this. Here you can see this is now visible by giving it some amount of padding, padding not, width and height, and background color. Okay, now first thing is the content. For example, if I write here something in this box, lorem of 60, now this is called the content of this div. Okay, this is the content of this div. And the second thing is in this now. What? Let me go to padding. Okay, now if I give it padding, let me show you with code, then you will understand it better. For example, here I'm going to give it some amount of padding. How you can do this padding? You can give it from 4, if you want to give it from 4 direction, then you will have to go to it with padding. Let me show you. 20 pixel. Now let's see. Here you can see now the padding is applied from the 4 direction, and the content now wrapped from the outsides. Okay, if I show you here in the box, here if I select this box, now let's see. Here you can see there is 20 padding from all the direction, 20, 20, 20, and 20, and the 300 was its own width and height. Okay, so this is padding. Here you can see the padding is here you can see this is padding. Okay, so this is 20 padding. Here you can see now the height and width is now changed to 340 due to we have added 20 padding to this direction and 20 to this direction. Okay, now let me show you another property. I think I forgot it. So if I box sizing, border box, if I made it border box, now let's see what is happening with this. Now here you can see now, if I show you, in this 300 width and height, they have adjusted the padding. Here you can see, if I select it, here you can see now the width and height is decreased to 260. This 20 and this 20 is added, and it make their width to 300, and this 20 and this 20 height has merged with this, and has made their height to 300. Okay, so this is how the box sizing working. If I make it instead of box sizing, let me see what is the other property, content box. Okay, so now see, it is the default property. It has its original width and height, and also they have added the padding to its width and height. Okay, here you can see now it is 340 and 340. Okay, so this is how padding work in the CSS. So you can give it a padding in this way. Okay, let me show you how can padding right of 20. Now it will be applied only from the right side. Okay, let me show you. Here you can see it is only now applied from the right side. If I show you here, here you can see it is 20 from the right side only. If I have to apply it from the top. So how I can do this? Here you tap and you will have to define the padding of 20 pixels. Now let's see. Here you can see now it is applied from the top and the right. Here you can see 20 from right and top. Okay, in this way you can pass for left and the right. So this was all about padding, and you can also go with this padding 20 pixel, 20 pixel, 10 pixel, 5 pixel. Okay, now let me show you what is this. These are all the 4 direction. Now let me select this one. So here you can see 20, 20, 10, 5. Accordingly, here you can see 20, 20, 10 and 5. Okay, and you can also go with this padding of 20 and 10. Let me comment this one, let me comment this one, let me comment this one. Okay, now let's see what is happening with this. So here you can see now the padding from the x-axis is 10 and for y-axis is 22. Okay, so this is all about padding in CSS. Now we are going to cover another beautiful topic of CSS, which is called I think border. So border is a good topic, I think. Let's go here, and if you have to give it some amount of border, then come here, border of 2 pixel, solid. I want solid border, and the color of border should to be red. It is a max property for border. Let me show you. Here you can see that the border is visible. This is border, and if I show you here, now let's see. Okay, and this is border is now applied on this. Now if I show you its width and height, it will be increased. Why it's not selecting? Here you can see now it is a 323. But if I made the box sizing to border box, then let's see what is happening. Border box. Okay, now let's see. It has adjusted in the 300 width and height. Okay, so this is the difference between a border box and content box. Okay, now let's see the other property, which is margin. So margin is also the confusion property with padding. Most of the people don't know what is difference between padding and margin. Now let me show you. So if I give it the 10 px of margin, now let's see. From the outside it will be moved 10 pixels. Now let's see. Here you can see now the margin is from the outside. Here see. Here 10 pixel of margin is from all the direction. Let me show you with another example. If I give it 100 pixel of margin, now let's see. If I refresh it, here you can see it is moved to this part, and if I hover here, you can see this brown part is the margin. Okay, now let me give from different direction for better understanding. Margin. Okay, now let me margin right 10 pixel, margin bottom 20 pixel, and margin top 60 pixel, and margin left of 150 pixel. Okay, now let's see. Here now the margin from the top is a 60 pixel. Here you can see, and from the right it is 10 pixel only. Here you can see it is less, and from the right from the left you can see it is 150, and from the bottom you can see it is only 20 pixels. So this was all about padding, margin, content box, and the other border in the CSS. You can also go with this for border. For example, if I want to give it the border bottom only, border bottom of 6 pixel, 6 pixel, solid, okay, and green. Okay, now let's see. Here you can see now the border of a bottom. This is applied separately. If I show you here, now you can see it is applied now successfully. So this is all about the main concept of CSS. So let's see what is further in this. Now we have the CSS units, I think. Now let me post this code on GitHub before going to this. So I'm going to clear this in git add git commit -m for CSS model. Now let's push this code. I will have to select this one, paste it here. Now let go to the main branch. Sorry, master branch, and here you will have to merge this with the box model. Alright, post this also on the GitHub. Okay, now I will have to git check out NSB and units. Now let's create here another file for CSS. This is lesson 04.html. okay, so here I'm going to hide the terminal HTML. Now let's give it the title of CSS units. Okay, now let's come here and make us styling for this. For example, I'm going what they are. I have a div here, yes, and here now I'm going to show you what is a unit. I'm going to internal style it internally in this file div, and now let's give it width 100 pixel, height 100 pixel, and the bg color to red. Now I will have to open this file. I think I can go with this if I make it 4. Now you can see here is a div, but I will have to make it a little bit bigger. For example, I'm going to give it the width of 500 and the height should to be 400. Now let's see what is. Now here you can see it is now bigger. So first let me show you the notes, what the notes saying about this thing. Okay, so first we have absolute unit sum, and then we have the relative units. So absolute units, let me show you what they are. For example, I have given it the width of 500 and height of 400. Now if I decrease the screen, let me show you. If I decrease the screen, it will be still 500 pixel. Okay, here you can see it is now 500 pixel. So it is called the absolute unit in a CSS. So avoid using the absolute unit in CSS. Let me make it responsive. Here you can see, I think I should to select here the responsive mode, and here if I go with this, now it is now overflowing. Okay, so we have to avoid this thing while using a development. So for this purpose we are using the relative properties in a CSS, which are percentage, viewport, and viewport height. Okay, a width and a viewport height. Okay, so how we can use this? Let's come here, and first I'm going to select the body, and for body I'm going to give it the width, and the width should to be 100 VW, means cover whole the screen viewport width. Okay, and height of 100 VH, means cover whole the screen from top to bottom. Let me show you. If I give it the BG color of blue, now let me show you here. Now you can see here it has, let me zoom it a little bit, it has covered whole the screen. VW is from this place to this place in 100, and VH is from this place to this place, from bottom to top, and from top to bottom is 100 VH, and from right to left and left to right 100 VW is equal to 100% of the viewport width. Okay, now let me show you the another thing. Now I am going to show you what is the percentage. Okay, now to this div I'm going to give the width in percentage. Okay, so width should to be 50% of the body, because it is the body children, so it will take 50%, and the height should to be 50%. It will take now the, it will cover now the half of the screen. For example, now I'm going to give it the background color of a red. Now let's see what is happening. Here you can see now it has covered half of the width of the screen because it is 50%, and here you can see it has covered half of the height of the screen. So if I make it now responsive here, if I go to responsive tab, and if I shrink it, now you can see it is also shrinking because it is the relative property of a unit. Okay, so you will have to use percentage and VW or VH while developing. Okay, instead of using the absolute property of a pixel for width and height. Okay, so this was all about CSS units in this particular section. So let me add this code on GitHub. Git add, git commit -m, and CSS units. Let's push this code on GitHub. Git checkout. I am going to merge it with the main. Now merge it with the units. Now let post this code also on the GitHub. Now let's see what is further in this file. CSS color. Okay, now we are going to learn about the CSS colors. So okay, here git checkout SB CSS colors. Okay, I think I spell it wrong, but don't worry. Here I'm going to create a file with the name of lesson underscore 05.html. You can also create an external file for this, but the code is shorter because I'm using the internal style. Okay, HTML5, and here I'm going to make it for colors. Okay, colors, and now let's see. Here I'm going to create h2. I think you will be already familiar with the colors, so let me select this here in the style tag. You will have to open the style tag, and here I'm going to select this h2 in the styling, and color for this should to be red. So we have three types of color in CSS. I think 3 or 4 types. First one is the name color. So this is called name color. What is name color? You can see here I named it red. For example, if I am going to give it the color of blue, now here you can see the color name is now blue. If I am going to name it to give it the name of color, and this time I'm going to give it yellow. So here you can see the color name is now yellow. Okay, so this is called named color in CSS. Let me show you. Here I'm going to open the 5.1. Now here you can see the color for this is actually red. This is called name color in CSS. Let me go to the preview, and the another type is a hex color. So we have also the hex color. Okay, if you want to learn about hex color, go to this what is hex color in CSS. Okay, go to WT schools, and here it will show you the different types of for example, if I want to select this one, and let me go to here I'm going to give it a hex color. Okay, what is happened this? I don't want to happen this time. I'm going to comment it hex color. Okay, now let's see color, and this time it should to be this one which I have copied. Okay, now let's see. Here you can see the color is now changed to the hex color. So this is called hex color in CSS. The other type, which is RGB, so it takes three things: red, green, blue. So let me show you. Code. Go here, and I show you the hex color. Here I'm going to RGB. Okay, and the color, you will have to select the RGB, and you will have to select here the red color. For example, I'm going to give it the 3 so it's 155. Okay, go to green, and this time I'm going here to 200, and here I'm going to give it 100. Now let's see which color they are producing. I don't know what color is chosen here. Now let's see. Here is this color is generated. Okay, now if I go to black, here you can see you will have to make it 0 0 0. Okay, now this time it will give me the black color. Okay, let's see. Here you can see the black color, but if I want to make it red, here you will have to make the intensity of 255 of the red, and 0 for the other two. Here you can see it is the red. Okay, so this is all about colors in CSS. So if I am going to post this code on the GitHub, okay, git add git combination is m and colors, git push, now let merge this branch with the main. Okay, merge CSS color, and let's post this also on the GitHub. Let me show you the GitHub. Here you can see now all the files are in GitHub. Here you can see till 5. Okay, now let's see what is further in the preview. We have done with the colors. Now we are going to learn about typography including font and text properties. Okay, now let me create here git checkout sb typography. Okay, now let me close this and let go and create here another file with the lesson underscore 06.html. now let's see, create here a basic boilerplate and this is okay, typography. Now let's see here, I'm going to create here h1 and I'm going here style. Now let's see what they are suggesting me in typography. Okay, now let's see. In typography I have font before, so let me select the h1 and here I'm going to give it the font family, and the font family should to be Lucida Sans. Now let me show you here. If I go to 6.html, okay, now here you can see now the font family for this is changed. If I choose another one, for example, let me show you. Okay, and this time if I select the Arial one, now let's see. Here you can see the font family is not changed to Arial. Okay, and the other property is font size. If I want to increase the font size of this, so you can increase the size of these fonts. For example, I'm going to make it 50 pixel. Now here if I show you, here you can see it's now 50 pixel, and you can also change it weight. For example, if I make it bold 10 or something, here I have thin property, I think. No, bold. Yes, I have bold property. Let me show you, it's already bold. I think I have also the extra bold property. Okay, semi bold. No, here is 700, I think. Okay, now I have also 900 property, I think. 900. Now let's see, it is extra bold. Okay, and if you want to make it thinner, then you can go with 300. It is the light, you can see. Where is it? You can see it's lighter now, and you can go to 100, I think. It's most thinner. Okay, if you want suggestion what property to include, so you will have to do in this way. Here you can see bolder, lighter, and I think, let me show you, it has a lot of the property. But if I go to lighter, here you can see this lighter, and this lighter is also applied, I think. Here you can see it's also applied. Okay, this is all about the font properties, and the other is text property. Now let me show you what is the text property. For example, I want to make this was font properties. Let me fonts properties. Okay, and this time I'm going to show you the text properties. Okay, and here I'm going to text align is the first property which we are going to cover, center. And if I show you here now, you can see it is now in the center aligned, and if I align it in the left, now let's see, now it is aligned in the left by default, and if I align it in the right, now here you can see it is now aligned in the right side. So this is all about the text aligning in the CSS. The other property is line height. You have text decoration. If we want to make it decorated a little bit, here you can see now underline is made. Okay, so this is text decoration, and the other property is text transform. If you want to make it uppercase or something or lowercase, so here you can see now I made it uppercase. Now see, whole the text of this is in uppercase. Okay, and you can also give it lowercase. lowercase. Here you can see it's in lowercase, and I think there is another property which is capitalized, and this is not capitalized. Okay, so this is all the property related to text transform. And let me show you on the line height. So if you have 5, okay, if I have more text in this, let me show you. Lorem of 100. Now let's see. Here you can see now the line height. Okay, if I increase it, for example, let me show you. Let me before format the document, and here if I increase it to 5, now here you can see the height between the gap between the line is increasing. Okay, so this is the line height property in CSS. Let me go to the CSS layout. Now let's post this code on GitHub. Try to learn this everything and use GitHub along me. Okay, it will make you pro developer. Okay, so this was the typography. Now let's post this code. Now you will have to go to the master branch and merge these two typography. Okay, and now you will have to push this master also on the GitHub. Git push. Okay, now it is pushed. Now this time is git checkout -b layout CSS. Okay, now let me show you what we have in this. We have display, positioning, and Flexbox, grid, these things. Okay, so let me create here a separate file for this one. I think I should shrink it a little bit, and also I think I should shrink it a little bit. Oh, it's not shrinking further. Let me create here another file, lesson07.html. okay, now this time I'm going to create here HTML5, and this time here is a CSS layout. Okay, cursor. Now let me create here a div, and 4 div actually for better understanding. Okay, 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to style it class, and this time I'm going to make it container 1, and I want to give all these different classes. Select this, paste it here, and paste it here. Okay, now this should to be 2, this should to be 3, and this should to be 4. Okay, now let me style it little bit. Here I'm going to open a style check, and for container 1 I'm going with 100 and background of red, and for container 2 green, and container 3 you can see accordingly I make it red, green, blue, and yellow, and the width height for all these are 100 pixel. Okay, now let me open this file here, 7. Okay, now you can see this is now in this way. So the default display, I'm teaching about display now, is black. Okay, now if I show you, you can see here there is a black display by default of body. If I make it inline, come here and choose select the body, I make it the display to inline, display inline, I think inline. Now here you can see. Okay, and also for the container, if I do not do this here, display inline. Okay, inline, inline and inline. So here you can see it is now finished up, because we can't apply style while we have applied the uh, inline property. So for this we are using the inline black property, so that the width and height will be applied successfully. So here I'm going to select this one in inline black, and for this I'm going to make it inline black, and for this I'm also going to make it inline black, okay. And for this I'm also going to make it inline black, okay. Now let's see. You can see now it is in one line, and if I show it display, here you can see the display is now inline black, okay. So if I make it black, here you can see now it take the whole the whole row, okay. If I select another one in this, for example this one, and make it display to black, here you can see now the whole row is destroyed, okay. So this is how display is working in a CSS. So another one is a display flicks and display grid, okay. So here you can see a display flicks. So display flicks must be applied on the parent component, okay, and the parent component or parent element, okay. So let me make it in the first case, like the first case, okay. Now here I'm going to show you the display. So come to body as it is the parent of this divs, and make the display here flicks. Now let's see. Here you can see it is just become in one row. If I hover on the body, here you can see, let me hover on the body, here you can see now the display is flicks, okay. Now we have some related property to this the flicks, which is Flexbox. Let me show you Flexbox, okay. Now we have justify content, align items property along this, okay. So make sure that you know about all these things. For example, if I want to justify this content horizontally, so you will have to choose this property. I want it in the center. Now let's see, it will be here, okay. Let me do this. Now it will be here, for example. Now you can see it is now here. I have justified it to the center, okay. And if I make it right, now let's see, it will be now there, okay. Let's see, it's now there, okay. And the another property for this is called align items, okay. Now this align item working on a y-axis. So if I give it center, now it will be, and also these to center. Now let's see, it will be here now, but I will have to give it the height, okay. So it's work only when there is a height, and the height of 100 VH, okay. Now let's see, here you can see now it is in the absolute center of the whole web page. So I want to be, they are away from each other a little bit. So how we can do this? So you will have to give a property of gap here, gap, and I want to give it gap 5 pixel from every direction. Now you can see it is more little bit away from each other, okay. So this was a gap property in CSS in Flexbox, okay. So we learn about display inline block and black, and now display flicks, okay. So this is very easy, this is not hard, okay. Now let's go to the another property which is called grid, okay. So grid is also the most used and better property, okay. So let me go to this. So it will give you proper understanding. Let do not move it, let comment it, okay. I think I should to return this thing, but I will return it a little bit, okay. For example, now I'm going to give it the display of a grid, okay. Now let me comment here, but it's visible, this is display grid, everyone know. And for this you will have to give it the columns, how much column you want in this particular row. For example, I want 2 columns, okay, 2 column. Let's see what's happening. Here you can see there is 2 column now, this and this. And if you want to don't give now the width, so you can destroy this width. If control D, control D, control D, control D is for selecting all the similar thing. Now I destroyed the width. Now here you can see it will give default width to this, okay. So this is the property of display grid. If I make it 3, okay, then it will doing this. Okay, you can see here there is no 3 columns. Okay, and I can also apply the gap property on this, so you will have to gap of 10. Okay, now let's see. Now there is 10 gap between these now. Okay, and you can also go if you want to make the first one bigger, then you can see it is now bigger than these two. Okay, this 2 width is now equal to this one. Okay, so this is 2 times bigger than these two. This is covering 50% and this is covering 25 and this is called 25 and this is covering 50 also. Okay, so this is the first element. Because if I make the second one greater and this one greater, let me show you 2f, and this time if I show you here, you can see now it is greater and these two are smaller. This is taking note 50% and this two, and this one is taking 25% of the width. Okay, so this is all about grid. Now the another property is a CSS borders. I think we have covered this border margins, and now this background. Okay, we already know about background. Git add, git commit m, and this time I CSS layout. Okay, now let's push this. Now let's push this one, and here I'm going to merge it with the main branch, which is master. Now let's go to the master, and here you will have to merge it with the layout CSS. I think the previous branch name was layout.css or -css. Okay, CSS. Okay, now let's push it also on the GitHub. So it is now pushed on the GitHub. Now I will have to create another branch for the background, because there is a lot of property in the background which is necessary to run. So git checkout SB, and this time we are going to BG. This is for background. Okay, now let's hide the terminal, and I'm going to make another file with the lesson-08.html. Okay, this time I want the basic boilerplate of HTML, and now make it the title to CSS background. Okay, now here I'm creating a div. Okay, then I'm going to style it a little bit, and let's select the div, and to this div I'm going to width of 400, a height of 400. Okay, and background, and this time we have background. Okay, so background, we have two property in background. One is called background color and the another is called background image. So first we are going to learn about the background color. Here you have ability to use all the 3 types of colors. For example, name color, hex color, and the other RGB color. Okay, so for example, now I'm going to give it name of red. So here if I open this file in the web, so here I'm going to open this file 8. You can manually go and open it here with this, but I'm opening here with this property, only renaming this file here. So now here you can see the background of this div is now red. Okay, and if I want to make it yellow, here you can see now it must be yellow now, and I can also give it the value in hexa. For example, I'm giving it some dummy hexa color. I don't know why it's giving me error. And okay, now let's see whether it's working or not. Here you can see now the hex color, and if I make it 000, then it will be black. I only know about black in hexa. Okay, and I can also give it in RGB form, RGB, and this time let me give it 233 and 100 and 200. Let me see what is the color. Here you can see now this color is applied. This is all about background color. And the other property, which is the most necessary property and use property, this is background image. Okay, background image, and this is taking URL, and in this URL you will have to pass the image. Okay, so for example, I'm going to choose some image for this. Let's go and search for image. and I want to bring this on image, so copy image address, and you will have to paste here in this quotation. Now let me see whether it's applied or not. Here you can see now this image, but if you see this image is repeating, here is image, here is image, here is image, and here is image. I want only once it. So how we can do this? You will have to come down and you will have to use the property of background repeat. Okay, background repeat. Here you will say to no repeat. Okay, so this will not repeat the image. Here you can see it is only one time, but if I show you, here I give it some border to this div, 1 pixel solid red. I think I should to give it 10 pixels for better visibility. So here you can see now I want to cover this whole div. How I can do this? So you will have to come here and go back. Either you can go with this background repeat also, so it will repeat on the whole div and it will cover the whole div, and you can go with the repeat, I think y, it will repeat only on y axis. Here you can see, and you can also give it repeat x, so it will go on the x direction. Here you can see, but if you want to not in this way, here you can do repeat, no repeat, no repeat. Okay, and here I want the size of background, so you can go to background size, this one, and you can choose the cover one. Okay, so it will cover the whole div. Okay, you can see here now it is covered the whole div. And the another property is, I think, contain. If I'm not wrong, here this is contain, and it will only cover those place which is the image size. Okay, and we will always go with cover. And we have also another property which is called background position. So if we want to show it's a center, then we are going to make it center, so the center will be visible good. And if we go with top, now let me choose another image for this. Here I'm going to choose another image for this. I think let me choose this one, copy image address, and let me go to this, and I think I should paste it here. Now let's see, here is now it's showing now if I select I make it right, then it will show the right side. Here you can see it's now showing the right side. Okay, and if I go to bottom, then it will give me the bottom view good. Okay, here you can see now it will give me the bottom view. So this is all about the background size, background repeat, and background position. Okay, so another property we have for background what is called as background attachment. So we are going to style the body a little bit. For example, I'm going to give background color not, I think background image, and in this I'm going to choose this URL, and in this URL I want to pass this URL. And now let's see what is happening. If I go to my, here you can see it's in the repeating, but I don't want to repeat it. I want to cover the whole screen. How long is this URL? I don't know. It will take me a day to scroll. Okay, now let's come here, this place, and this time I want to head to background attachment property. Okay, background attachment, where is attachment? It is here. Okay, and this is fixed, and let me create some content. I don't want this. Now lorem of 2000. Okay, 2000 lorem 2000. Okay, I don't know what is happening to me today. Okay, and the color for this I want to white, but let reach to the point where I was, and here I want some further text. For example, lorem 2000. This time I should generate it, and let's scroll to that, and come to the body, and here I want the color to text, color to white, and now let background repeat, no repeat, okay, no repeat. Now let me show you, and the background size to be background size cover, okay, don't contain cover. Let me show you here. If now I scroll, you can see the background image is now fixed, okay. But if I made it in such way, for example, here is another property in this, which is I think scroll. Now it will scroll along the, here you can see now it is scrolling, okay. So it is background attachment property in a background, okay. So I think it is enough for background. Now we have also the shadow property. Now let me create here a div. In this I'm going to define what is the shadow, because it is not too difficult to. Here I'm going to delete this body tag because it will take me a day to clear it. Here I'm going to create here a div, okay, the div, and I have already styling for this, but I don't want the image property here. How I can delete background image, and I'm going to background color for this. Here I'm going to give it the red, and let me delete this also for the body. I think I should delete this everything, and let me go to the body now. Let's see, here you can see now this. Now if I want to apply the shadow on this, how I can do this? Here you will have to come and apply the box shadow, and it is they're taking some property, for example 5 pixel, 4 pixel, 3 pixel, and I think here is a gray color. Now you can see here, I think this is the horizontal, and this is the vertically background color, and this is the blur, and this is the background color. Let me make it 0. So here you can see now the horizontal is gone, and the vertical is shown. If I make it 0, now only the blur will remain, okay. So if I made this 10, let's see, this x is now remaining. If I give it in negative, so here you can see it is now for this direction, okay. But if I give it in inside property, here inside, okay. Now let's see what is happening inside. Here you can see it is now from inside, okay. So this is all about box shadow in a CSS. What we have other viewport, we have already learned about this. Now another thing is CSS animation. So let's cover about this thing. So for example, I'm going to add this code on GitHub. Git add means -m, and this time we learn about bg in CSS, and git push, and let me post this on GitHub. So it will push the code on GitHub. It pushed, and let me git checkout to master, and git merge. The name was bg, and git push again, okay. Now it is done. Now let me create another branch for this git checkout -b animations, okay. So let's create another file for this 9.css html, sorry. Now let's hide the terminal, and basic boilerplate for HTML, and here I'm going to create a div, and now I want to apply the style on this div, okay. Now let's come here, and here I want to select this div, and this div should to have a width of 400, height 400, and background and border. Let me do not give it the, okay, I don't need this also. If I go to 9 now, I think it's 9. So you can see this. Let me see before the transition. So what is transition? If I make a hover on this, for example, when I hover on this div, a hover, Now the background color should to be changed to blue. Okay, now let's see, and the cursor should to be pointer at that point when I'm hovering this one. Okay, now let's see, here you can see now it's blue, but whenever I'm entering the mouse, it is directly changing to blue. I want some effects when I'm entering the cursor, then it should to be blue, but slowly. How I can do this? You will have to apply here a transition property. Transition. Okay. Transition, and it's take three argument. One is the all, the other is the timing, and the other is the way how to run. For example, if I now enter it, here you can see it is now slowly changed to blue. Here you can see it gives some effect. Okay, so this is the transition in a CSS. For example, if I'm going to give it another property of translate, so translate is also the animation property. Translate a transform, okay, and a translate on x-axis and 200 pixel. Okay, now let's see, whenever I'm on okay, on how I want this thing. Okay, so here if when I hover on this, you can see it's now more 200 pixel, and this is very slowly. If I comment this thing, now let's see here you can see it is going directly. Okay, this is all about the transition in a CSS. You can also go with the y-axis, and let remove this comment. Here you can see now it's moving to y-axis. Okay, you can also rotate it. Let me rotate it for you. Rotate. Okay, and it is taking the degree, I think 360 degree. Now let's see, here you can see it is now rotated 360 degree. Okay, so this is all about transform and transition in a CSS. Now the another property is the animation, so we will have to define the keyframes. On each keyframe it will do a specific text. For example, I am going to define here animation. So first you will have to define the animation name, and the animation name I want to be slide. Okay, another property, this is I think animation duration, it should to be for 3 seconds, and the another property for this is animation delay, I want that it to happen after 2 seconds, and the another property in this is the iteration count, so I want it to be infinite. Okay, and now let me not apply this was on hover, but it will be directly. Okay, so I will have to define the keyframes. For example, the keyframes, here you can see keyframes, and the name of animation here is a slide. Okay, and now I will have what I want. On 0% I want what I want the background color to be red. Okay, as now, and on 50% the background color should to be blue, and translate, and what is this, actually just transform. Okay, transform to 300 translate, sorry, x of 300 pixel, and let me on 75% I want another thing, background should to be yellow. I think I spelled it wrong, yellow, and transform, this time I want to scale it, transform scale, and the scale should to be 1.5. Okay, and on 100% what I want, on 100% I want to background color should to be blue. Okay, green, and rotate. Okay, let me transform, rotate, this time 300 degree. Okay, now let's see what's happening with this. Okay, you can see it run after 2 seconds, and all the animation is now applying, and it will be infinite. Okay, so this was animation in CSS. Now let me see what is further in this. So it was all about CSS in one video and one shot. If you like this video, make sure to like it and make sure to subscribe this channel. Now I'm going to add this code on GitHub, git commit -m and animations. Now let's push this code on GitHub, and I will have to select this URL, and now let me check out to master, and this time I'm going to merge it with the animations. Okay, animations, and let's post this all code on GitHub. Now here you will find the whole code which I have written now, from MD file to CSS from class 9 to class 9. Okay, so this is all the code of CSS, and you will find it in my GitHub. Okay, so I will give this link in the description. Okay, so make sure to subscribe the channel, please. Okay, bye.